Hey, what's going on, guys? So, if you're familiar with Henry Ford, he invented the Model T, which is considered to be the first affordable car in the entire world. And how he did that was he developed a system and methodology called the assembly line. And in the assembly line, why it was so genius was because everybody who worked on building this car knew exactly what they were building and what they were doing. And if there were any kind of mistakes or if there were any bottlenecks in their system, you could easily figure out where that bottleneck was and make a change right away. Because there was a system that was very efficient and it was really easy to make improvements upon the system, the entire world took inspiration from that motto and it completely changed the way companies do business today. And similar to how Henry Ford was so successful with the Model T by developing a system, for the lead generation machine, hence the word machine, we are also going to build a system. And the reason why a lot of people fail with emails is because, they'll send an email here and there at random times whenever they want, and they can't really tell if they're sending enough emails or if they're sending the emails at the right time. And really, without a methodology to sending emails, you just don't progress and you don't get the meetings that you want to get. And so by having a system, which is what we're going to create today, you're going to be able to figure out why people are responding, why they're not, and what you can do to increase the rates of which you get meetings so you can get more sales. So there's two different types of lead generation prospecting that you can do in the lead generation machine that we're going to learn today. The first one is going to be whale hunting. And the reason why I call it whale hunting is because you're going for specific companies that you really feel like would be a great fit for your product or service. Typically, how someone would go about this is if they have a history of customers that, they already know that their product or service fits and they're finding more similar companies like that, or they really have a strong judgment on who their product is for. And so when you know exactly who your product is for, you can focus on specific companies and increase your rate of actually getting a meeting with them and eventually getting more sales. You would want to focus on only 20 companies maximum at a time if you are whale hunting. And this is because when you're writing these emails for these whales, you're writing each one specifically tailored for that individual company. So if you're going for these whales, it's a lot better if these companies are going to make larger purchases, where if you go for 20 companies and maybe only 3 or 4 of them actually buy something for you, that's going to be a win. So you don't want to go for companies that are too small in this situation where they're not going to help you hit your financial goals. You want to hit the ones that can totally blow out your numbers out the water. Back in the day at Oracle, I was selling HR software specifically for hospitals in California who had 2,000 or more employees and had an outdated HR software that was about 10 years old. So in California, there were actually more than 20 hospitals who fit this specific customer profile, and those are the people that I went after. And this is good because I knew exactly what the pains were that these hospitals had when it comes to HR software, and I knew that my software was able to solve that pain kind of like a doctor. And so when you know specifically who you're going after, it's going to make emailing a lot more easier when you are hunting for whales. So to summarize whale hunting, go for 20 at a time, hyper focus on writing tailored emails for these 20 companies, and you want to really make sure ahead of time and do the research to make sure that your product or service is a good fit for their company. And the second type of prospecting is called fishing. And the reason why I call it fishing is because you want to think of it like you're casting a net into the ocean. You have a general idea that there are fish in the water and you're kind of throwing a net in there, but you don't know exactly what's going to pop out when you pull that net out of the water. It could be salmon, it could be tuna, it could be a dolphin or some lobsters. This strategy is typically used for startups or people who are offering a new product or service and they're trying to find a market fit. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an example. So let's say you are selling a scheduling software. It helps small, medium business schedule appointments and classes. So you might think one day that, hey, my scheduling software may be really good for all of the small, medium business yoga studios in America. So you might want to start with California and send maybe like a couple hundred emails to all the yoga studios in California. You don't know if it will work or not work, but the beauty is that you're sending a high velocity, high volume of emails tailored for that specific industry. Some people may respond, some people may not respond, but depending on what you get, you're gonna know if that's a good market for you, and if they're not receptive to it, you just go to another industry. So when you're fishing, you want to think of it like you're not exactly sure who your customer should be. So that's why you're not writing extreme tailored emails for each individual company, but you're writing it for an entire industry or entire customer profile, and you're sending it to all of them, and you're seeing if it works or if it doesn't work. Depending on your results, you're going to tweak it a little bit, make it better, and send out another batch of emails. So when you're fishing, you might be sending hundreds of emails a day, depending on how fast you are. Again, it's all about high velocity and figuring out who the best fit is for your product. And this also works if your sales cycle is really quick and you can make the sale just like that. Then, if you're going for a high volume approach, then, the email quality is a little bit lower, but you hit more people, so you might be able to generate more sales. So again, the whale strategy versus the fishing strategy, they are both really good, but it really just depends on where you're at in your business. So if you know who your ideal customer is, obviously you want to go with the whale strategy, but if you're still trying to figure it out as a startup or you're just starting up your business, then the fishing strategy might be a little better. You might have to send more emails, but eventually you'll figure things out, and then you can transition into a whale strategy as you move forward.